There is a tool in Freemasonry that is so powerful, so perfectly designed for both education and engagement, that you might be shocked to learn we've simply stopped using it. What makes matters worse is this actually makes up the other half of our degree. I'm talking about the sectional lectures of our 3 degrees. If we went back to using this forgotten tool, not only would it benefit our own Masonic education, but the lectures complete the other half of our degree while providing a structured mentoring and education program that builds understanding and comprehension of the lessons, principles, and the meaning of our ceremonies. In this edition of Daily Masonic Progress, I will share why we've fundamentally misunderstood what the sectional lectures are, how we've forgotten that our degrees are actually a two-part experience, and where the lectures can transform your lodge's effectiveness as well as help you retain and engage your members. And by the end, you'll have a clear blueprint for utilizing this forgotten tool to revolutionize your lodges, your own Masonic education, and complete your knowledge of each degree which you undertake. But first, what are these lectures and what is their purpose? Well, the sectional lectures are actually a series of carefully crafted instruction manuals for each degree in Freemasonry, but they're not done in the way that you might think for a lecture. They're composed in a unique question and answer format, much like our degree examinations, that cover the rituals and symbolism of each degree in craft masonry. And they also incorporate elements and parts of the different charges and addresses. But think about this for a moment. Before we had printed ritual books, how did Masons learn their craft? Well, they didn't read about it, they lived it. You see, the traditional way was beautifully simple yet effective. Brethren would gather around a table and the worshipful master would ask each member specific questions in turn. These weren't random questions. They were carefully designed to test and teach both ritual knowledge as well as moral understanding. These question and answer sessions became known as the lectures of the craft. And over time, they evolved into something more comprehensive. They became a complete instructional system that covered not just the mechanics of our ritual, but the spirit and morals of Freemasonry itself. Think of them as the original Masonic curriculum, one that grew and adapted as Freemasonry developed. However, during the second half of the 19th century, these lectures gradually fell out of regular use in English lodges. We've largely forgotten about this powerful tool that our Masonic forebears created specifically for teaching and testing Masonic knowledge. So by not utilizing the sectional lectures, we've forgotten that each degree is not just a ceremony. In reality, our degrees contain two essential parts, a ceremony and a lecture. Think about it like a university course. You have both lectures and tutorials, each serving a distinct but complementary purpose. For example, the first degree just isn't the ceremony of initiation. It's actually completed by its companion, the first degree lecture. And by not recognizing that the sectional lectures are actually part of the degree, we've fundamentally misunderstood their purpose. And by extension, we've misunderstood the ceremonies themselves. The lectures aren't actually supplementary education materials. They were our original system for both teaching the deep meaning of our ceremonies and testing a brother's qualifications and proficiency in his former degree before advancement. But did you know we've actually been using parts of these lectures in our ceremonies already? You see, the preliminary examination of each degree is actually a selection of questions and answers from the different sections of these degree lectures. So this should just demonstrate how fundamental and foundational these lectures are to Freemasonry. So now that we understand what the sectional lectures are, their purpose, their power, and have remembered that our degrees are two-part experiences, how can we implement them into both our lodges program as well as our own education and the education of candidates to prepare them for advancement? In my mind, there are multiple ways lodges can deploy these lectures effectively. So let me share these approaches and what I think about each, as some might work better than others. Let's start with regular meetings. Some might suggest performing the degrees lecture in the month following a degree ceremony. While this sounds logical, I'm not actually fully convinced, and here is why. We should be focused on performing the degree ceremonies during our regular meetings. Plus, we still face the challenge of finding meaningful work for the brethren below the degree being worked. So, whilst this approach might seem obvious, it's actually not our best option in my view. But if you did want to use them on a regular meeting night or on a night of installation, its best use, in my view, is to do it when the brethren have been retired during a higher degree. Because when the higher degree is being performed, we're just letting the brethren of the lower degrees sit around waiting. Instead, they should be outside the lodge with the education officer, a mentor, or a past master actively working through their own sectional lectures. So during a third degree, I'd even split the apprentices and the fellow crafts so each group can focus on their own specific lecture. And this turns that waiting time or drinking time into learning time with beers. But then there's also rehearsal nights, which I actually think is a better choice. Because have you ever noticed how rehearsal nights often become officers only events? Well, this is a missed opportunity because there is a better way. You see, while the officers are rehearsing, other brethren can split into degree-specific groups, spread out around the Masonic Center, and each can work through their degree lecture with a past master. Suddenly, your rehearsal night becomes a full lodge engagement night, and we're getting to go and meet each other in a more casual setting. But here's where it really gets interesting. You see, we could use mentor groups. Each lecture has multiple sections, and each section can form the basis of a mentoring or study group session. Think about it like this. Hosting these sessions in a brother's home doesn't just teach the material, it builds those crucial relationships that we're always talking about. Everyone can ask questions, discuss the meaning, really dig deep into the understanding. And by using each section as a different class, you've created a structured curriculum that naturally flows, and over the months leading up to advancement, keeps them engaged. So now that we understand the different places where we can incorporate the lectures into our lodge and also our members' education, what's the best frequency or cadence to use them? Well, let's tackle another problem first. You see, many brethren struggle to memorize the examination, and that's likely because we've given them the card and told them to memorize 15 separate questions and answers. So they go away and focus on memorization, not understanding, and then struggle through them. And this is a burden, but it also sets them up with a belief that they can't actually memorize ritual. The real issue is, it's not that they can't memorize it, because they can, it's that we haven't set them up for success. We've set them up for failure by focusing on pure memorization and not actually building understanding. So remember how I mentioned earlier that the preliminary examination questions come from the lectures? Well, by breaking down each lecture into its sections and covering them one at a time in the study groups, we've created a perfect environment for learning and memorizing the examination, because all the examination does is cherry pick those questions and answers from the different sections. So if you're doing a section a month, this breaks down the volume of work he has to learn to remember into smaller parts. Sounds like the 24-inch gauge. But because we've done this in a study group, he's also been able to ask questions and participate in discussion around the meaning and application of the lessons. And he's not just memorizing answers for an exam. And this develops a deep understanding of the degree itself. So how would this work in practice? Well, let's take the first degree lecture. There are 7 sections. So that's 7 individual classes, which can be done in a study group or a rehearsal. I do it once a month over 7 months. And then all of a sudden, you now have a 7-month program for the brother to go through in order to become proficient in the first degree. The work of the exam is now broken down into 7 parts to learn progressively, 1 part each month. Not to mention the added benefits of developing the deeper relationships with his fellows outside of regular meetings increases his engagement with the craft. And I would bet any money that instead of overwhelming a brother with the task of memorizing all the questions at once, even if it's over a 3-month period, because he's had time to digest the meaning and the lessons of the degree, as well as ask questions and answers, he's not going to have any issue performing the examination from memory on advancement. And since the whole point of the preliminary examination is to actually test the brother's proficiency and qualifications in the former degree, tell me this, who do you actually think is more proficient and more qualified? A brother who memorizes perfectly the questions and answers over 4 weeks, and then is advanced to the next degree at the next meeting, or the brother who has attended 7 class and study groups over a 7-month period, where each night a section of the lecture was not only read, but discussed, debated, interrogated, and analysed for its meaning, its interpretation, and its application, but then doesn't get all the answers right from memory on examination. I double down my money on the previous bet and say brother B is going to be far more proficient and qualified in his former degree than the first brother. You see, the second brother would actually be able to tell you why you're prepared in your heart, what importance that has, and how you'd actually apply it in your own life. The second brother would also be retained for longer because he's engaged and he actually understands what's going on. So who between the two would most likely to be an active Mason for their entire life? My bet is going to be brother B. So here's the thing that we need to remember. So now the time has come to dust off this educational tool, but here's the truth you need to face. You just keep ignoring these lectures, you're not only missing an opportunity, you're actually working against the very peculiar system of morality that teaches the mystic art and noble craft as a progressive science. you're ignoring our usages and customs that were perfectly designed for making, passing, and raising Masons. But the question isn't whether you should start using the sexual lectures, it's how quickly you can implement them to transform not only your lodge's effectiveness, but also give your brethren the education that came to Masonry for. Because while we've been searching for the perfect education tool and reinventing the wheel a million times, it's actually been sitting in our toolbox all along.